So WWE Draft is coming up tomorrow, presuming that this video goes out today or tonight if the video goes out later. Anyway, which is crazy because I was like, it's weird that they got their draft and the NFL got their draft like around the same time. Really, I was like, I don't ever remember this being the case. I was like, maybe this is the first year that this happened. I don't think it happened the last previous year. But I was, intriguing things. One, um, I I think this is going to be very underwhelming, to be honest, just because okay, I was like any of us that are of like a really old age, I guess older age is like we remember the draft of like the last like before like last year stuff like that. They have really been uneventful. I thought the idea of when it was on two different networks, when it was like USA and Fox was intriguing that they had like the war rooms and stuff. I thought that was an intriguing concept, but they didn't do enough with it. I always used to like where I was like, and we sort of got back. We sort of going to get that this year where they had the general managers, and I like that. And hope so. And I was like, so hopefully, I guess of like the older years or the past years where it was like, like I was like that they're going to it's basically going to be like a sports draft where it's like our pick, y'all pick, our pick, y'all pick, that kind of thing. Although I did used to like, I was like I liked back in the day and like of the where you had a match where it's like you're Raw, you're SmackDown, y'all have a match. Whoever gets it gets to make a pick. I like that a lot better, just because it gives something for the wrestlers to do, and this also is a very like based on if there's storylines going on. Cause don't get me wrong, you can have storylines still go on during this, but but like the last couple of years when there wasn't really any storyline, we wasn't also doing any matches that meant anything either. Um, but this year we got storylines going on where you got the bloodline on SmackDown, so it's like you really can't do the brand thing, trying to do that type of pick there. I mean, you could, but I don't think that's what they're going to do because they got that. You got AJ Styles with Cody Rhodes, that's going on. But also another thing they got here, which I think does help, because I was like, there's a reason they got the title branded, and I thought they got branded them just because if they did switch champions, that way you don't have to have that stupid like, oh, I gotta trade my Raw title with your SmackDown title. You don't have to do that because now they all have specific names. Where it's like the World Tag Team titles or the I was like, what's the other one? Undisputed or whatever. So Universal title. So that way if they trade, it doesn't matter. So, but this year they're all. I was like everybody protected. So right now, as of right now, Sami Zayn protected, Priest, Cody, Becky, Bailey. With the women's tag team title, it doesn't matter because they could go on cross brand anyway. But they also said that it won't take effect until pretty much before Backlash, which is like next week. So that's intriguing because you can, like, for instance, SmackDown can't draft Sami Zayn, but also say he has a match at Backlash that he loses. Then what? Then? Like, it's like, do I do? Is there something? Is there like some? Do we like still get to stay on that brand? Is he a free agent because he had to be picked up? Will it be like compensatory picks? I don't, So that's why I'm like, don't get me wrong. It was always boring. We always knew that once you sort of drafted this champion, that they're going to draft the other champion. So so it's like it's not as eventful. That was not eventful either, as the way that they're getting protected here is also the same equal of not eventful. I do think it sort of makes it intriguing of like, since Damian Priest is safe and the rest of Judgment Day in the pool, are you going to break up factions? And like I said, we only got a week till the draft is happening now, even though they won't take effect till later. But the storylines that are involved, like for instance, Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy. Chad Gable or the Alpha Academy can get drafted, and I guess you can, you know, take them all and still do the storyline over there. But would it be intriguing if you broke them up or whatever? Same thing with Judgment Day, but I don't think you're going to. So if we're to presume that the factions are going to stay together, then also too, they're also not really. I don't see them still. They still doing the thing where they're gonna break up couples. So something like, for instance, like Naomi, Bianca, and Jade over here. The Street Profits are they gonna move come Montez Ford with Bianca? You know, is Seth Rollins gonna go to SmackDown with Becky being the champ on Raw? You know, and I was like, not saying they haven't done this before, but I was like, this is they already started that back then of keeping couples together. Yet alone now on the trips, you would think that it would stay the same. That would be one of those things that you know. Um, so I was like, that's why I'm like, I was like, we're going to do a draft, but it's also like, is it going to be unforgivable? I was like basically not really worth anything. I mean, it's a draft and it's and it's uneventful kind of thing too. Also thinking about who the champions are. Okay, cool. And it's like, who can you really move? It's like, well, are you gonna move Kevin Owens after he just got his beat down from the bloodline? No, you're gonna have him stay because that's gonna be the thing. But also, you also need people for Cody to face. So So who can you get rid of that is going to go over here for Damien to face? And like so. I think we're going to get a lot of picks, and you'll see like in my videos of like I'm just going to choose people who I think need to switch. Not necessarily I was like I'm not actually doing the draft because I was like I think doing the draft is a little bit more than actually picking out like who people that you would prefer to see switch sides or people you think that stays on certain brand. Because I was like, that's also a thing too, is that some people fit with certain brands. Like Seth Rollins fits with Raw, and I was like, while I could see him going to SmackDown, I was like, let's not add like marketing and all that other stuff to the fix. Like the same thing with like Naomi. I was like, she fits on SmackDown a lot more than Raw. Uh, I was like, are you going to strip Bianca away from Jade when they just started themselves as a tag team and have Jade do a run as a solo star? And probably not. So guess what? They're not. They're going to stick together. So that's why I'm like, get ready for a lot of middling people of like Shinsuke, Ricochet, Bobby. Yeah, okay, I just wanted to see if I could rhyme enough people. But yeah, that's what I think we're going to really get with this draft, and because it sounds like I'm being like a downer or poo pooing on the situation, but it's really just looking at it in a realistic way of like, I think a lot of these people are really going to stay on their brands, and the people that you see move isn't going to matter that much. Now, in saying that, I'm somebody that if I was looking at this thing and I was like, I know it's a draft just to boo people. It's not nothing like actually like fixing the team. But I was like, to me, I think that SmackDown should have more star power. And I was like, I was explaining this also in the videos in the way anyway. And Raw should be used as not developmental but newcomers. The reason I say that is like because of the way their show structure. Raw's a 3 hour show compared to SmackDown's 2 hour show. I was like, to me, SmackDown needs like especially if it's since it's still gonna be on a Friday, is that you need more stars, impactful players on there. It need to be more star studded. You don't need new people who the people don't know in a short amount of time because you don't have that time to develop, give them all promos and all this other stuff. You need people who people know right away and can get it done, get in and get out. Raw, you got so much time to fill. And I'm like, to me, I would pack. I was like, not that you wouldn't have enough on SmackDown, but I was like, there more. To me, I would have more women on Raw because you could get because of so much time. You got there's a lot of young ones on like by young, new, whatever you want to say on there. I was like, you got a whole extra amount of time where you could let them do promo, you could let them talk and do showcase matches or do enough matches, where it's like you could do 3 women matches on there compared to a SmackDown that's sort of hard to do with all the people. And I don't mean that like taking away from the women's thing, but I'm saying like on here you like how Raw sort of did this past year with Zoe Starks, Tegan Knox, Indy, Candice, Ivy, and Maxine. That's 6 like basically fresh new women that's on there compared to SmackDown where you want to have Bianca, Naomi, Bailey, like Asuka, Charlotte, and you really think about it, the only new one you really had on there was I was like I was like, sort of damage control, but not really. But really, the only new person you had on there is really Tiffany, and that's I was like, you need more veterans on that show, is what I'm trying to say. Because I was like, with Raw, like that's where I would have like some of the younger men on there that can face off with some of the older people, but they also had the time to shine. Like Damien is still like he's the older guy, but he's relatively still fresh and new in a way. Dom, I was like, they don't have him on there now because of like what Raw would have to be with that championship boosted it up. But where on SmackDown, I'm like, you could afford to have a lot of the veteran people that you are there. You don't need to introduce a whole new people to that small amount of time. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say with that. But yeah, no, I don't think we're going to get. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's gonna be jam packed just because of the way that they got the draft now. It's not. I was like, I don't think it's gonna. It's interesting from that perspective. I don't see anybody major moving on. Uh, and also too, like the way that we personally would draft. Like I said, I'm not doing the draft. I'm just saying who I think need a fresh start or new matchups over here with the people that gonna keep the title. It's different. I like the way we draft is not how it's going to be because they already got their own personal plan. Because I was like, we're gonna do a draft more of being like who I want to see on this show, along with maybe the storylines, where it's like they already got their storylines, and it's like, okay, we need people who's not gonna really interrupt it but also adding something. Maybe that's what I think. Anyway, my little tidbit, my little thought on it. Anyway, we'll see how the draft goes. See if I'm right. I was like, we'll see. Anyway, till then, peace. I'm out.